All right, we'll start our meeting, the Village of North Bennington Board of Trustees for Tuesday, October 13. First item on the agenda is review and approve minutes of both the August 11 and the September 5 meeting.
Regarding August 11th, if there's no questions, I'll move that we approve those minutes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anything on September 5?
I will abstain from that one because I was not
That's right.
here.
How do you pass a minutes when you have one abstention on a minimal quorum? You might have to review those next month. Anyway, we'll hold that off then. Citizen comments. I had asked someone to come. Someone had contacted me, wanted to talk, but they're not here. So I think we can go on to Treasurer's report.
About the warrants.
Yeah, it's the warrants.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, that's important. There you go.
You'll have 4 of them.
Now I gotta go into a different.
You'll have a revised September, because there were 2 checks voided after that was done. You will have the normal October, the October-November payroll, and are they not there? Or did they have them here? Oh, sorry.
I'm not sure I have the revised September.
She sent them separate from Lori.
Yes, I sent them all in one email.
Would you like these passed out?
Yeah, I didn't make extra copies.
Yeah, I have
There's
all
the
of them except
revised,
September.
there's the revised September, the October, the Wincoat, and if you don't have,
Oh, I have the other one.
do you have the payroll?
Yeah,
If
right
you
here.
don't, I can have my copy.
How do we know it's the revised one?
Because it says,
Okay, right there.
Oh, this one doesn't say revised. Okay.
This is the October one.
And it's because of you had 2 voids, you
the
said?
September, the October one that you had in your email is not correct.
Oh, September.
Use this October one.
Okay. But this is September revised.
That September is revised, and that was one of the documents that was sent in the email.
Okay. So,
That is revised because there were 2 checks voided after they were voted and approved. So the expense is slightly
make a
less.
motion on this one?
Yeah,
Or
I
if
don't
you have any
see
questions?
problems with that, so I move that we approve the revised September warrant.
You second that?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Then we have, the October is not revised.
It is not revised because it's never been signed.
Exactly.
But it is not the same one that's in your packet. It's $74 less than the one in your packet.
Because
I
of
will
one voided
resend
check.
the
Because
one.
of one voided check,
Yes.
right? Okay. So that was this one here.
What's the amount on
The
that?
October, if you want to see the October, take the logo out and then
We
the
got it.
last one is added.
Do I have a motion to adopt the warrant of October?
I've got a bill I want to add to it.
So moved.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Do you have that other one you signed?
Right here. Yeah, I snuck it right in on you. So these 2 are the same. We have these 2 as well.
And then we have a Wincoat.
You have a Wincoat, one thing. It is the second half of an invoice that was,
Yeah, I
the
remember.
first half was paid in June.
Yep.
I'll move that we approve the Wincoat warrant.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah.
And the village payroll warrant.
I will move that we approve the payroll warrant.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Those 2, we're
Add
good.
one. So what we need to do is, Norm is requesting that we add 1,
That one's got
that Mary and I can take
Back
care of
across.
tomorrow.
To the general warrant?
Yes.
Yes, for Matt Morse Excavating, for $2,800 for work on College Road.
Okay.
So let's get that one that they signed and handwrite that at the bottom, and then we won't have to revise and sign next month.
I can go over that one, I do.
But you just need a motion to accept that as part of the
Yeah,
warrant.
we'd like to add that,
Okay.
yeah, and
Sure.
we're going to revise
So I'll
it now.
make a motion to
So we don't-
add the Morse invoice
To the warrant, or
to the October warrant, so he can be paid.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. The shuffle.
800.
Now we'll do citizens' comments. Still no citizens. Treasurer's report.
Oh, hold on, I'm still writing.
Wanna go on to highway first?
Yes.
Highway?
All right, you just saw that invoice, we rented a machine from Matt Morris and we ditched College Road, both sides. Tomorrow we have a hydro seeder coming in, we're gonna blow off the leaves and we're gonna seed the grass. So that should be done, and then hopefully sometime, maybe the end of next week or the beginning of the following week, that we will have paved it, doing our one coat paving. So that'll be good, and we do have a little more ditching to be done, and Matt said if we could get them paid now, then he would give us the next day, just give it to us, so that works out pretty good for all around. We've been right after working on the fountain. David, tomorrow if you want to stop up, you can see our box that we're building and go around it. The fountain will be closed sometime at the end of October.
The 29th.
29th of October.
Right.
Okay, 29th of October, so we'll shut it off the day before and drain it. So it's all set. It'll get winterized, and then that'll be to bed for the rest of the year. Leaf season's coming up. We're going to try to start on Monday. It's probably more likely Tuesday that we'll start picking up leaves and we'll end the first week in November.
About 2 weeks worth of leafing.
Yeah, on residents, it's Mondays and Tuesdays only. People that pile their leaves during the week, it's just, I'm just gonna go in the back home, shove them right back on the lawn. This is crazy taxing for us.
So basically the message is, if you want your leaves taken away, do it to the standard. You want to explain exactly how you like it?
Yeah, I mean, basically you rake them close to the curb, not in the street, and you put a tarp over your leaf pile so they don't get full of water and rain and snow and sleet and everything else that we've had before. And then we'll be around. The neater your pile is, the more we'll pick it up. I'm not there to rake somebody's lawn.
If they were to do what other towns do with the bags, like the paper bags, would you throw those right into the back? Would you be able to?
I don't know if they're biodegradable.
Well, they are. The paper ones are.
I've never.
It takes, a little while, but they're sitting over the winter in the.
Yeah, we'd have to check on that.
Okay.
I don't know. I know I have some friends that live in Clifton Park, and they go and if they buy bags at their local store, the town goes and they pick them up all year long, like grass clippings and stuff. But they're a special bag, you know what I mean? And
They break down to some degree.
and maybe that might be
Something to explore.
Yeah.
that might be a good idea, you know what I mean? We can't do it every week like
So basically,
paper.
either you get that 10 days to put your leaves on the curb in an appropriate manner.
Not in the street.
Not on the street, because if it rains, then that all just floods into the.
Right, and then you're responsible. If they flood and they block a DI and do damage, we're gonna go back after you for creating that problem. This is just getting ridiculous.
So that's the window you have, and beyond that, you're gonna have to take the leaves over to the landfill, themselves. I mean,
Yeah,
they can bag them up anytime they want, or they can.
That's right. Yes, we can provide the time. Anybody that has a pickup and would like to drop off leaves, we'd be more than happy to open up the gate and let them take it. And we'll take it.
What else you got, anything?
We're just getting ready for winter. I forwarded the pictures that we had of the truck there, and that should be done this week. It's supposed to be here. I've got to go check it, and then it'll go get the plow put on it. The sander showed up today, so that got dropped off. So, you know, our truck's stripped. I talked to Gail myself, and she was going to look for the title and get back to me before I left at 3 o'clock today. I hadn't heard from her yet, so yeah. But,
So she's back.
you know,
Just
I spoke to her on the phone.
Must just cover.
Where she was, I can't answer.
And short of finding that title, you're gonna have to go through the process.
Yeah, well, tomorrow, hopefully, we have the paperwork to apply for the lost title. It's kind of a pain, you know. Unfortunately, it's probably been nicer to do this 2 or 3 weeks ago, but we didn't know, so that's is what it is. But now we've got kind of a system with Lori, and we're gonna fix that, so on our remainder pieces, we won't have that problem.
Okay.
I have 2 checks here, and they're both from the Halls on Prospect Street, and one is a $50 check for a permit to dig in the road, and it was kind of, just because we're running around like chicken with our head cut off, you know, it was grandfathered, but there's their check, and then here's a $1,000 bond check for them. So if you could put a note on it. I don't have the official permit paperwork, but they had to dig in the street to get their water in that new construction, and, you know, we're not gonna stand in their way, so.
So they'll get that back in the spring if there's no settling?
Yeah, I can't remember what it says. I think it's a year.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But if it's,
Yeah.
you know, in the middle of June, it's good.
Right.
And they wanna square that up before the next budget year, whatever.
So did they patch that then today?
No, it's, it's dirt.
Is it gonna get patched or it's gonna?
Yeah, it's gonna get patched more than likely.
Just when you do the other?
It'll get patched when they blacktop around the corner. And that's on them, you know what I mean? That's not part of us, but, you know, it's, you know, we'd be kind of
Stupid to come out with just.
grumpy if we didn't let them just leave it for a couple of days and then go around the corner. But
Yep.
I haven't heard anything on the residents in College Road that was negative about us ditching and cleaning out. You know, we got Bennington there to try to blow out a couple culverts. There's one on in the front where Bob Howe lives, that private road, that we're going to try to get out of there. And you know, if not, I really don't know whose culvert that is, if that's ours or theirs.
Goes across their road?
It goes across their road, yeah.
I was looking at that yesterday.
And it's plugged solid.
Yeah.
You know, and it needs, you know, but it's on dirt, so it wouldn't be a big deal if, you know, to change.
That's something you would consider doing, like,
Well, that's something that definitely should be done.
could you do it after the blacktop's in?
Yes. Yeah.
Without, it's far enough away from the,
Right, but if it's their culvert, then
well, you should talk, you know,
it should get that changed.
how does that normally work? Typically,
You know, we don't really,
it's private land.
because of the way the records, you know, how things were done, usually, in North Bennington from years and years ago, I really don't have a good handle on whose that is, you know, we'll get a feeling and that's it, you know.
Of course, it's
most
to
of the-
everybody's advantage, the road will fare better if we're not backing water up against it, you know, if the water keeps moving.
Yeah. Oh, the driveway will fare better. Now it has somewhere to go, you know, so, you know, the homeowners have a vested interest in that, and then we just have to decide on whose it is.
Would you be willing to do the work if that group of homeowners bought the pipe for?
That's usually what happens.
Okay.
And we're good with that. I'm gonna hopefully try to get it jetted and see if we can save it, you know, maybe it's just plugged and it's not all rotten. You know, and if we can do that, then great, we move on. But if not, that's a very good compromise.
Yeah, okay.
You know, we buy it on our municipal pricing, which is cheaper, and get it done and put it in, you know. And slight of blocking that road for a couple hours, you know, I mean, you could do it, you just drive right in the driveway and get to you and be done.
Yep.
Think about drive around probably on that lawn if it's,
No, you'd be pretty much,
it drops off there a little
you'd
bit.
be stuck in there. I mean, if we're gonna put it in, we gotta put it in one shot, and, you know, and that would be it. But, so hopefully we can get it jetted out. Like I said, we got the hydro seeder coming, so we're gonna go do Mechanic Street. We were gonna try to.
A little late.
We're gonna try to patch Mechanic Street where the washout is and build that road. But then our faithful volunteers showed up out of the blue today and wanted to build the thing for the fountain. We can't turn away free help, so.
Right.
So we were right after that, and Zach and Fred went and fixed the bench in the park. Then Fred reconditioned the top of it because he had done the seats, and it looked, you know, again, he asked me, he didn't want to go ahead without it, but it looked kind of crazy that the seats were all nice and like brand new marble, and then the top was dirty, so, you know, we cleaned it, and we drilled it and pinned it and glued it.
I didn't know what happened. It was broken?
It fell over. Yeah, I think people were sitting on it, just leaning back like most people do in a chair, and
Which one? Which part?
the marble, the one in by the firehouse, the nice marble
Oh,
table.
the table.
Oh, yeah, I noticed that.
Fred had built. a
Fred
long
built
time
that,
ago.
yeah.
That'd take some weight to move that.
Yeah, it's pretty heavy. So Zach went down there with him, and they spent the morning drilling it, pinning it. And
That's great. Yeah, I noticed that a little while ago.
you know, in the things that we have in the village, you know, and I don't know what it costs us, Fred, I told him to be nice to us, and, you know, but that, I see a lot of people sitting there enjoying
It's
their
used a
lives.
lot.
Yeah, every day almost. At
You know,
least, yeah.
and, you know, and that's a pretty nice spot. So Mark put a little park money into it, and, you know, and that's about it. You know, we're getting ready for winter. We got a couple salt contracts in place. We got to call and get some salt ordered and get it pushed up. We got our sand, we got some sand. I say our biggest hurdle is, was our backhoe, and that's fixed. That'll choke a horse. But we got to put 2 tires on that, and we planned for that this year, so that'll come. But you know, but now it runs and it drives, and we can use it.
Is that it?
I do have one thing in personnel.
Okay. All right. That in executive. Treasurer's report?
All right, I got a couple of things. Let me start with a question that I have, and one of the checks that was approved to Milton Cat for $2,708. I thought I saw something on there that it was a grant. Is that a grant? No. I
thought that's what I saw
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, it's that's not a grant then. There's nothing,
Those bills never came to me,
okay,
so I wouldn't have wrote anything on it, because I didn't turn those in.
all right, well, I'm going for
They get
that
mailed
one, but I
directly
thought I
to
saw
Laura.
something that said, can you take a look and see what
Sure.
that is? And just,
There's a copy right in there. It says grant on the
Somewhere it
invoice.
says.
It does say grant. I gave you a copy, Norm, in there.
Look at the color one.
Oh, you can look at the colored one. You might guess.
so while you're
It does
looking-
say grant somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere I thought I saw that too.
They're double-sided, and it says environmental something grant.
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure, because this is under an expense, but if it's a grant, it goes elsewhere
No,
because
that's,
I don't believe that, this was just the repair on the work, right? On the
it looked to
cat?
me like it was some kind of a repair, that's why I'm questioning. But then again.
no, I was a repair.
I don't know where it said grant, but I
Yeah.
saw it too.
Yeah,
That's
So-
how it is.
well, maybe we both had a little too much wine that night, who knows? Okay, so that's that. Let me do this. These are more copies than you need, I'll just take back the extras and recycle. This is where our fund balances were on our cash balances at the end of September. Laura, there's one if you need it.
Okay, great, thanks.
But specifically thought we should look at this at least at the end of a quarter. And specifically that truck reserve, because the 62,000 there, I suspect that's what we're gonna be using the vast majority of that for the new vehicle. But that is there, and that should cover the vehicle entirely, and all the extra work on that. And so those are the balances that we have in there. Second thing I wanted to show you is I included in your packets a trial balance. Come on, where is it? Here we go. Just kind of a list as of today, which includes all the expenses that we just did today, as to where we stand with income and expenses. The first part of that report shows what all of our bank balances are. These, of course, are not the same as the balances as of the 30th, and also the restricted funds are not on this at all. They're just separate. The second part of this is all the revenue accounts that we have. So far, we have almost $260,000 of taxes collected. There's another $78,000, I think, that was in the mailbox today. That's about 12 to 15% of the total taxes are already paid. So that's coming along nicely. The delinquent taxes, there is a currently we have delinquent taxes out in the amount of, principal amount of $38,000 left, and total amount, including interest, penalty, etc., of $47,000. Other than the one Hall Street property, most of the really big ones are collected, and there is a payment plan on two of them, on two of the larger ones. One was a foreclosure, and that actually either did just go to auction or is going to auction this week. There's one on River Road that's happening with that. So my hope is that by the time we get to November, this list will be minimal. My hope is zero, but my guess is minimal. And then hopefully we can avoid getting a ton of it on here.
Mary, what's the current delinquent on the Masonic Temple?
Well, funny you ask, because that's the next thing on the list here to look at.
Can I ask you a question about this before we move on?
Sure.
So
I have actually several things to go on that.
Oh, okay, I can move to you.
Do you mind? Let me get, there are 2 tax years out on the Masonic Lodge of 4218, and then the total, including interest and penalty, good through the end of the month, is 5387. This will be, I was just asking around a couple of realtors, and I have to contact the person who has it listed to see if there's any interest. I held off on sending notice of a potential tax sale because there was a potential buyer.
It's under contract, presumably.
That's what I hear. I just want to find out. If it's not, I'm not waiting.
No.
Right, but it's good to wait if.
So it's only 53, it's only $5,400.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was substantially more than that, okay.
No, there's only 2 years. But I'd really like to get to a policy where people can have 1 year outstanding if they have a plan.
Yep.
But that we don't go beyond that. Otherwise, it just, you have a list of $100,000.
It's harder on everybody, yeah.
Yeah, before you can turn around. And there are many options for payment plans, so there's almost no reason not to at least have some activity going on. I do have a couple of other comments on this, but why don't you go with your question first?
I just wanted to make sure, if I'm reading it correctly, then for the budgeted expenses for Q1, we're about $568 over, which is really pretty good in the grand scheme of things.
And again, I'm just taking those items that we've spent money, that we've had expenses on yet. Not everything like salt and sand is a pretty good one, but that's not, there's no budget on that. Everything else, I just took 1/4 of the annual.
Right, no, that's great.
So, and then since we really don't, we budget for the total segments, but not every GL within that segment yet. We may get to that. So for instance, on the general government, for those items that we have had expenses so far, we spent in cash $11,044, and the budget was $11,750. So
No, that's really
and
good.
I think you're reading that the same way.
Yeah, no, this is great.
Okay.
I was just looking at the total, and globally, that's a pretty good number.
Yeah, we're there. Couple other things I did want to point out on this. Number one, on the first page under the cash balances, because of the last two expenditures out of the Wincoat account, that is down to next to nothing. We're going to have to really remember the fire department when we do a budget upcoming, so as we don't leave them short. Another thing just to point out, which we talked about before, is there were two kind of small checks that were denoted for McWater's Park donations, and there's a separate, it's not a separate bank account, but it's a separate GL account. So we're holding those there. The sale of equipment, that is Norm's money. It may not be netting against expenses, Norm, but that is your money, and that is what we've done for that. As we need to change our accounting and really account for assets and disposals of assets, that's why I'm kind of segregating this here.
Great.
Another thing I wanted to point out, however small, is on that first page, under the village expenses, the other miscellaneous of $700.86. I'm grouping right now all the expenses that have to do with sending tax bills or collecting delinquent taxes, with the exception of legal fees. There's just under $500 in legal fees that were expended, but the letters that got sent out and the work that was done on that really paid off immediately, and all of the properties were either paid or have a payment plan for. So, and my hope is to keep this segmented so that maybe next year we can really get a good feel of what it really does cost to collect things and send out tax bills. And then on the very last page, at the end, there are expenses that are not necessarily budgeted because they're grants. So the grant expenses and the fountain expenses are down at the end of the report. The detail, I believe I sent that as well. It was, I don't know, like 12 pages or so, where I had the detail for each account. You could see all the expenses that were within those. And Norm, that is something that you really might want to take the time to look at, because there's so many of these accounts that are yours, and we were going to try to break out the expenses so you could see which vehicles cost what, etc. And if you take a look at the expenses, we'll just make sure that we got them in the right spot, because I'm thinking sometimes you don't maybe see every one of them.
Yeah, I can't even promise you I can look at that until November.
We have until the end of the year, so it can always go back. It's just the report gets bigger, but it's there, and you can do
Worth
that.
looking over before we do the budgeting, and,
Oh,
you know.
I think
Yeah.
if we move forward as much this coming year as we did last year, by next year, we'll almost be to 1980 in the way of doing things.
I guess that's a,
And the last thing I wanted to share with you is, because it is tax time, just in case anybody asks, there are 4 days and 5 time segments that I will be here collecting taxes. There's a version of this that will go in the paper. I will put one in the post office, and I will ask Lori to kindly put one in our window. And we'll be here. Last year during the actual in-person collection time, we were probably, I don't know, 25, 30 people in total. So I kept track of it last year, and I'll keep track of it this year. And if we have times where 3 or 4 people are showing up, I'm just going to reduce it down to nothing.
Great.
And by next year, I will have a credit card payment option in place
Fantastic.
that we will not pay any fees.
they'll pay the fee.
It'll be much like the government, you know, if
Yeah.
you go online and pay your federal government or your Vermont taxes, you pay
the fee.
online, so.
DMV,
we'll
same
see.
way.
Yeah, we'll see
Fantastic.
if we can't do that.
Also, they'll be able to sit right at home and do it.
That's right.
Wow,
There will
that's
be
great.
no excuse not to pay taxes, how about that? And we'll still find.
I don't know if we're gonna convince everybody of that.
That's okay. And that's all I have.
Great, thank you. And I gotta get back to my thing here.
Still have a question?
No,
He asked it.
cheap, yeah.
What have you got?
I get lost.
DRB, do you know what the final, did they do a final ruling on that? I left before.
Well, yeah, the final ruling was that it'll be allowed, they're formalizing the restrictions they may want to put on it, so the total number of horses, and this is for the stable up at Territon. And basically it was approved, and the only thing that could stand in the way is the McCulloughs did have covenants on the property that they may or may not exercise.
Who's in charge of that? The estate or the family or the?
John,
Alan.
Alan and,
Will be now?
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
okay, so it
That-
follows
that's
that
all-
one. It's
that's
not
all
part
that's
of
left
The
to-
not-for-profit.
Right.
Okay.
And I don't think he's gonna do anything, because, and I kinda like the idea of having the stable there myself personally, but that's, I don't live next to it, so I don't know what they're,
No, there's horses all around anyway.
they'll have to work, yeah, but their concerns are legitimate, that, you know, that
right.
the creep and how things can move.
Oh, right, yeah.
And so they just want to make sure that they've covered their bases, and I think
And
that's
then
good.
there are some restrictions so it doesn't get out of hand.
Yep. I guess on that note, we need to appoint somebody to the DRB board. They have a vacancy. And I've tried several times this month to contact the person who I hoped would do this, because he had offered to want to get involved this spring. I'm thinking maybe he's like me, where he has a cell phone and not really use his regular phone, and I don't know that number. But I would go ahead, and I think we ought to go ahead and agree to nominate this fellow. He's really interested. If he says, you know what, turns out I can't do it, then we're just back to.
Right.
And if he is interested, we're ready to go. And or because we've spoken of it before, we could wait another month and ask the community if there's other people who want to. You know, Shasbury dealt with that. They interviewed 3 different people for their planning commission last week. And how do you want to do it? I mean, it's not like people are clamoring at the doors to serve on these committees, but I don't want to exclude anybody who's sitting out there thinking maybe they would like to consider it.
My gut is we should give it the extra month. Let
Okay,
people consider
and that'll
it.
give me a chance to contact him.
I think whoever we get needs to want to do it.
Oh, yeah.
That's all.
No, that's for sure. With the DRB, you know, it's here and there. It's
It's-
one issue a year type of thing that comes up, but then when it does, it can be
Now, who was the lady that came, she lives at the corner?
Candace.
Candace Cuthbert,
We appointed her to the
the audit.
auditors, right?
But we
Oh,
need
that's right,
3
that's right.
Yeah,
to do anything,
So we
otherwise
really-
it's a moot point. So
we've still got to find other people.
quite honestly, my opinion is we should have a professional audit every year anyway.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so. It's just me.
All right, well, we'll wait on that, and that'll give me a chance to actually, you know, he only lives in my backyard. I could just walk over there maybe someday. When I'm chasing my dog
But it
around.
is a shame if somebody says that they'd like to do something.
Yeah. So there is an opening on the DRB. Just announce that, and next month we will decide if there's more than one person who shows an interest. We'll have to decide who that'll be. Addition to that, it is time to appoint the water board commissioner. A commissioner. And I received a letter from Ted few weeks ago. And they've put forth their 2 names. And so the two names are Steve Goodrich and Ron Pembroke. Now, last time they did this, I asked Ron, and he didn't know that he was being nominated, so I think that's kind of fun. But we could nominate Ron and then see what happens. But I think, you know, Steve has obviously been with the board forever and as a, like an important, I think we're developing a relationship there that's worth continuing to foster.
I agree.
So I would entertain a recommendation.
I would move that we nominate Steve for that position.
My second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. So that's done. Any other water? What's our next? DRB, fire department. Is there a fire today? Did you know that? I heard somebody talking about a fire on Scary Lane today. When I was downtown.
There were 2 trucks out of the building when I went down.
To school?
At home at lunchtime.
And maybe, I don't understand, unless they call me because they need something.
Okay, and then I want to bring up on, I guess there's some new and some old. Does anybody else have new business?
I don't.
No.
I might have mentioned this before, but we with the help of Pete Dominy, who's now moved out of the state, but when he worked at the BCRC, he acquired a bike rack from Bennington for us. And I just want people to keep thinking, or if the community has any input about, you know, it's one of these 2 hoop things that you set into concrete. Where would be a good place? Where would be the good places in the village for those to be placed? I mean, it's essentially one. We talked about possibly at Pangea. You're gonna have to move a bush or something there if we're gonna do it there.
Yeah, we'd have to tear one out.
Mark Berry he's using your bush right now as a bike rack. We thought maybe Kevin's on the north corner of Kevin's, pouring a little slab where the lawn meets the sidewalk, where people could do that. Powers Market would be another option. I think at this point we'll wait till the spring, but on the other hand,
Spot in front of the post office?
well,
People always kind of hook
they
it
hook
up
it
to the flagpole.
I mean, there kind of already is a flagpole, and there's the handrails. Isn't there a handrail or something there?
So there should be one at the post, I agree, that's a good idea.
It's private property.
Huh?
Post office is private property that's leased to the post
Oh.
office.
Right, we'd have to figure, I mean, you'd have to just get the permission. The same goes with Powers, or actually any of them would be private property probably.
Right, well, we look at the post office and we see how they keep their trees trimmed and looks like ass. So, you know, I'm not in favor, we won't be putting a bike rack at the post office.
Okay,
We could put one over here at the train station, close to it.
I see.
But, you know, if they don't want to maintain the front of the building, why should we spend any money to make it look nicer?
You know, they do some nice plantings, flowers and stuff there. And
They
the
don't-
new trees.
Because the people that work in the post office make an attempt. They planted the new trees and then the grass grew on the trees to your knee this summer.
Yeah.
It looked horrible on Main Street. And
Is that owned by the fund? I mean, by the,
Yeah,
Sage City owns the property,
next door, yeah.
but don't they own the property that the post office is on as well?
No, there's just this little teeny piece in the back.
So who owns the
I
property?
believe whoever with the estate of the Dalys. I think it's
Oh.
Daly or It's in that family somehow. Could
It's
be
way
a-
back.
Oh, it's still in the family.
But it's a privately owned building, it's leased, and then it's, you know, they pay to have it plowed and stuff like that, and it's taken care of in the wintertime as far as safety, but aesthetically,
Yeah.
nobody cares about it in summertime.
Okay, the other thing is
Library is another place to think about.
library,
too.
right? So really, we need a lot of these. We really should be writing some little grants for more of these. I know
Yeah.
Bennington got a whole bunch of them, and they just had this extra one.
One of the options we had talked is, the sidewalk in the park on Main Street needs to be replaced, because it's they paved over a bunch of marble, heaven forbid you do anything with their marble, and that's just pave over it, it was just crazy. And you can see it's all broken up, where the original fountain is that was donated by the parks or McCullers or the Halls, or, you know, that original one. and that needs to be actually redone. And that would be a good project next year to put that bike rack in that part.
Right behind the bushes on the
You're
side.
close to the left bank, you're close to Kevin's,
Yeah.
not so close to here, you're not so close to Powers and Pangea's,
Right.
but it is in the center of town if somebody wanted to go to the church.
And it's on town property.
And that's
That's a good
kind of
idea.
a thing to start with. Then we probably move down into the park.
All right, let's,
Next to Pangea's that
Library,
we own,
whatever, yeah.
you know, and kind of put a bike rack there. I mean, I wouldn't want to put it in the center where the big water fountain is, that just.
no,
would
no,
look-
no, no, no.
But across the street at the library would be a good spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, all it takes is a 4x4 slab of concrete, you pour it, you set these things right into it.
Right, but with 3-yard minimums, I mean, just like everything else, kind of.
Might as well have it.
expensive. If we, you know,
Did 'em all
we
at
go
once.
back to next year where we're gonna put in we're gonna start fixing our sidewalks and we're gonna decide as a board whether we're gonna go up and around the corner and all the way to Holton Street, or we're gonna dig it out and we're gonna be done with it. And, you know, then we'll just do that little section right there.
All right, well, that's just something to chew on. And then the final thing is that Mickey from the BCRC contacted us about,
Yeah.
it had been a while, but it looks like they're ready to come back and talk about the grant that we would ultimately need to write for the roof of this building.
Yeah, and with this, you know, and it's hard to get a hold of, somebody who we trust to work on this building, you know, and, you know, it's unfortunate that George doesn't do it anymore for us because we got some eve problems. I mean, we got some serious problems.
Yeah, we do.
And, you know, and they're probably gonna be that way through the winter. But, you know, the roof on this cantilevered roof, and please go around and look up. I mean, there's a brick that fell out in the back corner. You know.
There's water getting in somehow, and I don't know if it's coming through the coatings,
Well,
or if it's getting in behind the
That
coating.
coating, and again, as we were told, that coating is every 3 or 4 years, you know, that coating is
Right, it's been,
5 or 6 now, you know what I mean? It's maintenance, it's gotta be done. You have somebody that knows what they're doing to put it on, that they don't make every car that's parked out front of here black. And, you know, there's an art to painting this building, you just can't let any yahoo in here.
Well, it might, yeah, I noticed that. Well, it's
Yeah.
ice damage from last year or whatever in this corner, it's not
Yeah.
good.
You know, our fellow that helped us with the fountain, who I think is a very good candidate to work on this building with us, he had shoulder surgery, couldn't do anything this year. You know, so we gotta find somebody, and then there's inside. You know, this room's in really decent shape, but our floor, it's time to recoat this. You know, and again, it's spending a little bit of money in this place.
Well, we need to, I think, without a roof, we don't have a place. And if it turns out we've got to dump all of, you know, of what we have, where's that?
30.
Depot Reno Fund, 32, 33.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to, you know, just go at it slowly, we can't. We did do a lot of, we did put a lot of money into this building in the last 5 years, you know, we did repaint it, we did all those window insulation projects, you fixed this door, you did the floors, paint, you know, but you're right, you can't stop.
Oh, yeah, you know what I mean, and we, you know.
And our clock isn't working, is it?
It's those little things. Oh, I don't know, nobody's told me about it, so,
Well, it hasn't worked for a while, has it?
yeah, it's always.
Oh, all right.
I mean,
Seems like last time I looked up there.
until summer, usually Ed will call me, he notices that, stuff like that all the time,
Okay.
you know?
I have one old business,
Okay.
highway department thing, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
If you're done.
Yep.
What's going on with the 67A and C-core and doing the core testing? And I know you took the core samples.
No, that's good that you, because I thought about that after Mary said grants, and I called MSK, and I called David on last Thursday,
Yeah,
Friday, I think Friday, the day it rained, because that's starting to crack and drop again.
Okay.
And I have not heard back from Jason. David said he was gonna send him an email.
I did.
I don't know if he's responded to that.
Okay, so we're waiting on information.
We are,
we
we need to
That's
crank
what
up a gear because, you know, the crack is back.
Can you fill that
No.
No, it's just
with tar or?
falling away.
If we had, you know, we don't have, the crack sealer is gone, you know what I mean, we've done all that. But there, you know, there's a serious problem, you know, when we paved it, patched it, it's starting to go again. And there's.
Month of November and December with the frost and thaw, get your insurance up to date for.
There's nothing more we need to be doing right now. That's moving forward.
We're just waiting.
It's in other people's hands.
Right now, it is under,
Perfect.
I think there's a lot more that we could be doing, but right now we just have to sit and wait.
Right.
And, you know, I'll certainly try to reach out again tomorrow, make a phone call, and, like I said, maybe David can ping him again on an email.
Yeah.
And, because we were really close. Now, I just went to a class for rivers and, you know, how to maintain a healthy environment when you're filling and stuff like that. And the person that deals with all the river permits was at that class, and he told me that him and Jason were speaking regularly on this issue. So,
Okay.
you know, so it is moving forward.
Right. Well, it's a complicated problem. It's not like they're going to have a quick
That's
answer.
right. Yeah, it's not like.
But they might need it a little faster than they think if the
Let's hope not.
road ends up in the river. That made me think of the other thing. Did you contact that guy regarding the discussion about this
Yes.
lease?
Yes.
What did,
They emailed me back. Yeah, no problem. The gears are turning. They're just turning very slow. And
okay. Lori did provide to me a receipt of the $1 that she sends every year.
yeah, they never even asked for that.
And we paid it tonight, actually,
Yes.
again.
It's,
We pay it every year
and
now.
they're claiming that we're out of contract, but.
Yeah, a couple of years. Trust me, they're not worried about it.
Right, they're not taking the building
No, we're
away,
not.
but
So,
Right.
so when they're wrong,
when we get this all
not right.
when we get it all figured out,
Well,
we'll get our rebate of $3.
how do you pay that dollar? Is it just automatic or you see a bill?
No, they give me a bill, and then it shows when we paid it last, which was last
Right.
October. Yeah,
So, you know, does one hand not know what the other doing, or?
it's crazy.
I don't know. But we have to vote on the other building.
Okay, that's tonight, okay, so that's old business, I guess, too. Is,
Medium business.
huh?
Medium business.
Medium?
Kind of old, I don't know.
I think we've come to a consensus as a board that we will take over the remaining building on Depot Street there, the railroad. Now, we will be leasing the building for $500 a year.
That's correct.
We will use it partially. First, we will get it cleaned out,
Yes.
and we will use it partially for village storage and maybe partially for some other village opportunities, whether it's gallery space or just meeting space, or, you know, it's a pretty basic building right now.
Yes.
Now, the caveat with the $500 is any money that we put into it, like a new roof, should we decide it needs that right away or whatever, would go against that 500. So, you know, we could put 5,000 into it and not have to pay a dime to the state.
Fire suppression thing and all that.
I don't think once it becomes some public space or something, there might have to be some concerns with that, although the irony is that, you know, Nadu continues to have his.
Yeah, the use will be, uses to be determined.
Yeah. We just want to preserve it. We feel pretty convinced, they've pretty much said that they would tear it down
Yes, yeah, definitely.
if
No, if we don't save it, and at any point in time, we can
let them.
terminate the lease and have it removed. I mean, you know.
But really, it's just a precedent.
I think that's a little easier said than done, but, you know, those leases aren't gonna be forever, and again, just removing things off the property, you'd probably pay the rent for the next 10 years,
Exactly.
so.
And making the building useful and keeping sure that it's not just continuing to fall into disrepair. So I think we need a motion on that. And I guess the resolution is, should the board allocate $500 per year for the lease to the state railroad real estate people for village use of that structure. May want to move that.
So move.
I'll second.
All's in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That was complicated.
Well, it's on the record now. It's ours.
It's our building.
That's all I have. Do you have any other old, new? We do have also some employment stuff, personnel stuff to talk about. So I would make a motion to go into executive session.
I'll second that.
Second.
All's in favor?
Aye.
Aye.